Phoenix Down Radio is on the air.
Welcome, everybody, to Phoenix Down Radio, episode number 95. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing great. I was watching your intro. I was enjoying it.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that. We have some interesting guests tonight because it's just me joining us tonight. Sayre is off. He is doing some Sayre things in the real world for some odd reason. And Chili is taking a break tonight as well. He is selling hot dogs. Well, he's not, but somebody close to him named Sausage McContent is selling hot dogs. So we have guests. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Hello, I am Keio of the underachieving Toku Sentai, and I'm also the redheaded cat girl to your stage left? Stage right.
Or yeah, the left side of the screen.
I'm Cagi. It's currently 2:32 a.m. I'm very British, and will probably be collapsing in about a few hours. But hi, I'm also playing as Says. I'm also a member of the Kugane team.
Yeah, so these are members of the Kugane Koban Crushers, the team that we are sponsoring, the team that kicked ass on Thursday night, beating the Ishgard Eyes 4-2. But they didn't see that one coming. And we also have another guest. Why don't you introduce yourself as well?
Hi, my name is Aegir, and I'm the person who runs the Blitzball thing.
We're very glad to have you with us, Aegir, and taking time to from your busy schedule. We are live on Balmung. I know. Why am I there? Because this is actually a very amazing server where they're doing some amazing things with Blitzball, raising funds for To Write Love on Her Arms, a charity that is dedicated to helping to prevent suicide, help people with mental illnesses, things like that. And it's a very good charity, and we want to raise as much money as possible. Don't make me turn off all the sound effects in the game, guys.
You said to be entertaining in the background.
Exactly. I did say that.
Fine, we'll stop for now. We'll just hold our glow sticks.
All right, so let's see. Let's start by throwing out the fundraising links to make sure that everybody can, if you want to donate to these amazing causes, there's multiple ways to do so. You can either make a flat donation directly to the To Write Love on Her Arms page for the Kugane Koban Crushers. Let me copy this stupid thing. Come on. Let me copy you.
That's the one you should be paying. Yes.
Copy.
Because we're the best team.
If you want to make a flat donation, you can click on that link there. Or if you want to kind of get into the role play spirit, you can also pledge a certain amount for each goal scored, which right now would be 4 goals. And we'll just keep going up and up as they work their way to the championship.
Heck yeah.
Wassoy!
Wassoy!
You can click on this Google form and fill that out and say how much you would like to pledge per goal, up to a certain amount. You can put a cap on it, and then they will contact you after the entire event is completed, letting you know how much your pledge ends up being, and give you information on how to make that pledge. Now, Aegir, how is that actually going to work? Do you know yet?
What was the question? I was busy photobombing.
If somebody decides to make a per goal pledge, and once the tournament is over, how are they going about making good on their pledge amount?
At the end, Dylan's going to collect all the money or something like that.
Okay. Is she going to send them to the To Write Love on Her Arms page and say, okay, donate this amount?
I think so. It worked last year, so she knows how to do it.
Okay, because that would make sense that way, because all of the money would then go towards the team that they pledged to. So you can either pledge a flat amount, we've had, I believe, 5 donors to the Koban Crushers for a amazing $300. We're kicking everybody's ass, by the way.
Actually, we just got another 20 thanks to SS.
Oh,
There with
nice.
Cagi.
So $320. So yeah, like I said, we're kicking everybody's ass. But no matter who you want to support, whether it's the best team, the rainbow and gold Kugane Koban Crushers, or
The Koban is strong.
yes. But no, this has been a lot of fun to support, and that's why we're here tonight. But let's start with a little bit of game and community news. First thing that I want to talk about tonight is it was recently released. I saw this out on the Nova Chrysalis website. Square Enix is set to release a line of English translated mangas, novels, and art books. Apparently they have teamed up with Penguin Random House to hold on a second, I need to copy this, to introduce a new line of English translated manga, novels, and art books beginning this fall. The new launch will be anchored by Final Fantasy XV, Dawn of the Future, which is a novel containing all the canceled DLC. That was, we were supposed to get the stories for Luna Freya and Noctis and Aranea. They canceled those, so that's all going to be put into a book now. They're also going to be releasing High Score Girl, which is an amazing anime on Netflix. They're going to be making a set of books on that. A Man and His Cat, which is a pet-themed comedy that was the new best-selling manga in Japan during the first half of 2018, and the complete edition of Soul Eater.
See, I'm all for that last one right there.
Soul Eater is an amazing anime. I really enjoyed it. The manga, I'm sure, is just amazing as well. But the fact that
it was good stuff.
they're bringing it now as English translated, so it'll be much easier for us to get. Are you
legal?
calling me a Soul Eater, Kane? Only when I'm really, really hungry, okay?
Hey, man.
And only that one time. But I think that is really cool that Square Enix is getting into that. I've noticed that they're in a lot of different media outlets now. I finally actually got a chance to watch the one of the newer, why can't I think of it? Tomb Raider movies. I don't know if you saw that any of those.
The live action one? No, I hadn't seen that.
It's actually not terrible.
That's what I've heard.
Curious.
I mean, that's not a glowing review on it or anything, but like I said, it was fun to watch.
Well, it's not like we have very high standards for video game movies.
Right. But no,
You can either thank the Mario Brothers movie for that or Ue Bowl.
well, I thought it was well done, and it seemed to be in line with some of the new story. For
That's good. I've been enjoying the reboots.
Yeah, I think it's based off of the rebooted Tomb Raider, so I thought it was a very interesting bit. So, yeah, definitely check that out when they go into stores. But if it's on the SENA store, avoid it like the plague. We all know why. Anyway, moving on.
Because you don't want it to get to you broken.
Well, I mean, it's bad enough. I actually have a package coming from the SE store. I did get the new art book. That should be here on Tuesday for me. So
I'm sure it'll be folded in half. It's fine.
Actually, I've been relatively lucky on that aspect. What kind of pisses me off is the amount that they charge for shipping and how long it takes.
Yeah, it's insane.
The only
And
reason
I kind of wish when I pre-ordered something, it just took the money then.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why they don't, because, well, things happen, but...
Yeah, I fully understand. It's just, every so often it's like, oh, right, I pre-ordered the lore book.
Yeah,
So they're like, what is this $60 charge?
yeah, especially if you pre-order something like way in advance. I mean, at least they did add an option now that where you can pay for it early,
True.
which I did. So that and the collector's edition. I had to get my Dark Knight statuette.
Gotta have all the edge.
The edge is calling tonight. Anyway,
We'll sell you the whole statue, but you'll only need
the edge.
the edge.
That sounded like a very bad 90s radio promo. 93.7.
Yeah, it was basically
the edge.
that was just every single time a monster truck rally rolled through my hometown.
No, that's Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
But you only need the edge.
Okay. All right, moving on.
Okay.
The City of Final Fantasy NT news. They recently announced that a new Leon skin for Squall's character, to reference his character in the Kingdom Hearts series, will be available for purchase in the June 5th update. So I think that's kind of cool that they're referencing that version of Squall. It's kind of a neat looking skin as well.
I'm not gonna lie, when you said Leon, I thought they had given him a Leon Kennedy skin.
Like from Resident Evil, or
Yes.
no, not that Leon. The other Leon. He's kind of edgy too.
Well, you know, he
He
gave us
goes-
the gun sword.
Yeah.
He goes by Squall in Kingdom Hearts, and that's kind of the kind of appearance they're going for. Which I'm all for it. I wish they'd actually give you the Kingdom Hearts skin for Cloud as well.
They might. You know, it all depends. Well, it's kind of funny, you know, they didn't have any of these characters in the last Kingdom Hearts, but they're definitely playing off of the whole, you know, the Kingdom Hearts hype.
Well, I hear they are looking at like a DLC for Kingdom Hearts, and that is going to include Sephiroth again.
Of course it is.
That could be cool. So then you got to have Squall and Cloud and some of the others, right?
Mm-hmm. Yuffie, Aerith,
You know,
all that bit.
That might
But
jump
they'll
in.
never have the greatest character from that game.
Katshi?
Reno's the best.
Reno?
Yeah.
You don't like cat shit? I mean, Katshi?
No, he's a treacherous little bastard.
Yeah. He's still funny as hell.
Oh yeah, I know.
All right. Next little bit of news we'll talk about is the actual letter from the producer, from Yoshida. Not a letter from the producer live. That's coming up later on next week, I believe. What this was is
23rd or something.
yeah, this is an actual letter on the official forums. Basically, it discusses why there was no new healer, why Viera and Hrothgar are gender locked, and also why they're never going to allow character or people to play younger looking player characters, because yuck. Especially on never mind.
I don't understand why they had to just
Because reasons.
I know the reasons. I just
And unfortunately, we're on most of the reasons right now.
I know I live on the server. That's the reason, but still, that doesn't mean
We love you all, but yeah.
Look, I'm not responsible for Ul'dah.
Oh my. But there was a really, really awesome announcement at the end of that letter. The dev team did some ninja editing of a few of the headpieces, mainly glasses, circlets, crowns, stuff like that.
Yeah, that Hrothgar.
You can wear glasses as Hrothgar and Viera.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to regret myself for doing this, but I'm going to try and get it onto Balmung as soon as it launches. But I have to make a Hank McCoy. I have to make Beast now. I need a blue Hrothgar with glasses.
I wasn't going to go that route, but I was actually contemplating Fantasiaing to a Hrothgar, because my major part of my glamour is my sunglasses. Very rarely will you see Klauss Nightbringer without sunglasses. The only exception being Red Mage, because that hat.
Right. I mean, you have to.
Yes.
The hat's where all the power is.
And hashtag Red Mage for life. But other than that, you know, if I can't have glasses, it's not worth living.
Big mood, big mood. I always have my goggles on my my character.
Right? So now you'll be able to do that as a bunny girl if you want, or a beast boy.
I don't know. I like my shades, my white girl shades,
You are so basic bitch right now.
right? Just need a pumpkin spice latte and I'm set. Maybe some Uggs.
Well, you gotta put your coat on though. I don't know if you
right.
have it on that character, but that's fine.
Do I have it on me?
Oh God, what did I get myself into?
Okay, the closest I could do. I can do this one. Wait. I could do my sweater. Or also,
It's pretty close.
what about my squall jacket?
If only they had shutter shades now.
Whatever.
You did this to yourself.
I'm having a good time with it. So, all right. So, I mean, if you want to read that, I posted a link to the letter in the Twitch channel. I will also be putting all of these links into the show notes as well for you guys listening on the podcast. And for those listening on the podcast, I'm sorry.
He did this to himself. Don't feel sorry for him.
Now, somewhat Final Fantasy related. They announced recently that Nier Automata has sold 4 million copies worldwide. Now, with the newest 24-man raid coming up in Shadowbringers being based off of the world that this game is out of, if you play 14 right now and you want to kind of get an idea what the lore is going to be like on that, maybe now is a good time to jump into that because there have been a number of sales on the game, and they just recently released the Game of the Yorha edition. So,
Bravo on that name.
Right? But I'm not sure if I'm honestly going to be playing it, but it looks like kind of an interesting game, and I'm sure there's a few people who would really enjoy it.
Oh yeah, I love Nier Automata. I've only recently started playing it, but I'm enjoying it so far. I just hope they allow me to dress up like a cute anime girl and then explode. I mean, I realize I could do that with Blue Mage, but that requires Blue Mage.
What, you don't have your Blue Mage leveled up?
No.
What, some kind of scrub
I
over
did it
there?
on one character, and I'm like, okay, I'm done.
I didn't think it was that bad. I mean,
No, it easily by far has the best. I forget. I think it's the victory pose where you twirl the cane around.
Yeah. Well, it's the
the best
second
animation.
best. Second best, because the best one is obviously Red Mage. Come on, flipping that sword in the air and that collar pop?
The color pop is good. I'll give you that.
Wrong
But
cane, Kane.
But dang. I'm on the wrong character. I don't have my glow stick daggers.
Or are you gonna try and stab me in the back as you're doing
No,
the dance?
I was going to do. Fidget spinner ninja.
You are a fidget spinner, aren't you? All right. Final Fantasy XI celebrating 17 years now. What the hell? That game is still
honestly-
around.
I didn't know that.
17 years. So they're
Kicking.
they're celebrating. There is currently a free Return to Vanadil login campaign until May 27th. So if you're like me and you haven't played in ever, like a very, very long time, you can download the game, sign in, and play until the end of the month, basically, for free. And if you are behind on your versions or want to just get into it right now, the full game is only $10. And I
That's
believe
not bad.
if you're just starting out, I believe it comes with a free month of subscription time. Also, if you want to transfer worlds, world transfers are currently half price now as well. $9 to transfer to a different server. If you've got like friends who are on a different server from where you're currently at and you want to get in and play. Like if I wanted to go join Nicknar over on that starting server, I don't remember what it is. Instead of I'm on Behemoth right now.
Behemoth. My old former home server.
Yeah, I used to actually. My home server was Midgard Stormer, but that got folded into Quetzalcoatl, and I lost everything and everybody.
That's rude.
It was very sad. I was in the middle of a 3-month hiatus, I logged back in, and I was no longer on Midgard's armor. All my link
Wait,
pearls
that
were
thing's where I
broken.
left it.
All my link pearls are broken. All my friends list was gone, and I was a sad panda. But that was also about the time that 1.0 was launching. So some lucky person got a couple million gil and a whole bunch of elemental staves, and all the stuff I could give away. But Klauss still is out there somewhere, I think. Level 75 Red Mage. Like I said, Red Mage for life. Okay, I'm going to skip over this next because we're going to talk about that last because it's the biggest bit of news. But the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles a remaster has a release date announced for 2019. And this information came from a Nintendo Direct out of the UK. How weird is
so
that?
bad.
You're a fan of the Crystal Chronicles, eh?
Yeah. I'm okay. So here's my history with Final Fantasy.
Okay.
I have completed 2 Final Fantasy games in my life.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 1
Good one to
and
start with.
Crystal Chronicles. Because I have this bad habit of getting 90% through the game, taking a month off, and then never touching the game.
Forgetting all about it.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think a lot of us have that problem. I mean, I'm kind of that way right now with Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm about halfway through that game, and I haven't played that in a year. I think everybody's...
Me in Final Fantasy 15 right now.
I did finally beat that. I still have to beat the other 2 episodes that I bought, but we'll get there. But what's cool is what they say, 15 years after its debut, the co-op action RPG Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles is being remastered for Nintendo Switch. With the new online multiplayer mode, you and your friends can connect and adventure together. No link cable required. Because this was a Game Boy Advance game, I believe.
Well, it was on the GameCube,
Oh.
and you could play it with the Game Boy Advanced as a controller.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And on top
I
of...
remember going over to my friends' houses and doing that.
Very nice. And as they say, on top of that, there are new areas inside dungeons, so even returning fans can explore the unknown. So they're adding some new stuff to it, which is very cool.
Help us defeat the miasma, friends.
You're our only hope? No.
Yes.
All right, and that bit of news that I skipped over, and because we wanted to kind of end on that, because there might be a lot of discussion with this. FF7 teaser trailer dropped last week.
So beautiful.
I'll post the link to the video in the chat, but don't go anywhere. We love you all. Check it out later, maybe. But basically, they confirmed that there's going to be more info to come in June, most likely at E3, as well as possibly in the Final Fantasy VII concerts that's happening the week before E3, which I so really wanted to go to, but you know how it goes, right?
That would be such a... I never finished... Well, I mean, I already admitted to that, but man, 7 had good music.
A lot of it had good music, but 7 is probably one of the most quintessential games for a lot of people. You mentioned Final Fantasy, though, like, oh, Cloud!
Right.
But,
That pretty blonde face of his.
an SE press release after the trailer was dropped did confirm, though, that the game will still be released in multiple parts. So there's that bit going for it. I'm still not sure how I feel about that fully, but, they kind of got... I'm wondering if it's going to be similar to what they did with Final Fantasy 15, and they might release different episodes that are at a lower cost as DLC.
That would be my guess.
I would hope they don't go the Final Fantasy 13 route and give us 3 different games like that.
3 very boring games, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I beat 2 out of the 3. 13-2 is actually a pretty good game.
I have heard that, but I couldn't even get through the first, 4 hours of 13, so I didn't bother. I admit it was a pretty game. It doesn't really do much, though. But honestly, I've been seeing a lot of people with the Final Fantasy VII thing, since they're showing a lot of the stuff from just the Midgard sections at the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I have to agree with a lot of people. I think that's going to be the first episode, is an expanded version of the first 2 hours in the game.
The first disc, basically.
Yeah.
I think that, basically just until you leave Midgard.
Yeah, I think the cliffhanger is going to be the dropping of the plate.
And so then you think we're gonna bring it back up with the bike chase then, or
Possibly.
trying to remember how all that goes at that point? I mean, because there's a lot of storyline that happens during that Midgard section.
I know it'll be a later thing, but I can't wait to see Barrett in his sailor outfit. Everybody's all like, I want to see the Honeybee Inn hot tub scene. I'm like, no, I want to see Barrett in his sailor outfit.
I still want to see Don Corneo.
Don Corneo.
You just want to see all the squatting guys.
Yes. Wait. I can do
Yes.
this. Where is it? There we go. Squats. Yeah.
Yes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, a lot of people are speculating that there could be a playable demo available at E3 out on the floor.
That would be smart for him, yeah.
So, maybe be able to play the first 10 minutes of the bombing run, basically.
Or possibly the escape afterwards, since they've shown a lot of fighting that seems to be later on, but in the city.
I would bet, most of what would be playable is going to be before you meet Aerith. Would be my guess. And there were some initial thoughts. People were wondering if the game would be released yet this year, because initially Square Enix's forecast had a pretty strong third quarter of 2020. But they've recently updated those numbers, and it looks like it may not happen until after March next year. So we may still have a year to go before we get to see Final Fantasy VII.
Well, they did take the property back and make it in-house.
Yeah.
So
But that was a while ago.
Yeah, but you have to wonder how much of whatever the other company was even going to be reused or could be reused.
All right, and I posted the link that I found that information on. They have a couple of slides in there that kind of show the old and the updated financials for Square Enix, where they make their change. They basically think that this year is going to be flat from what last year was, but next fiscal year is going to be just huge, because there's going to be Final Fantasy VII Remake, as well as that previously announced Avengers game, which we haven't heard too much about. We know
I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, one of one of Square Enix's groups is working on that. I believe Montreal is working on that one, but so that's going to be a pretty big game as well. I mean, it's kind of sad that they weren't able to get it done in time to release with Endgame.
That would have been probably best for them, but I don't think the MCU is going anywhere anytime soon.
No, I mean,
not with Disney's dollar bills.
Yeah, and we're basically at the end of just this particular arc, and we've got Phase 4 going yet. So, and we got the whole Spider-Man movie coming out soon too. So the whole MCU is not going anywhere.
No. Anything that's Marvel related now is probably going to print money.
Yeah. And I think that Square is smart in making sure that the game that they put out is good, not just well timed. Because we all saw what happened with the initial launch of 15 when it felt rushed, even after 10 years of development.
Yeah. Or Sonic 06.
Oh, no.
There's a reason why you do not rush games just to meet a date.
Or hopefully you even go far enough back to where you make it all the way around and you release a late game that's terrible, like Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh boy.
Sorry, did I open up some bad wounds?
It would have been fine if it had released 10 years ago.
All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about in the news? Any more you want to discuss on Final Fantasy VII? Things that you want to see it have?
I mean,
Speculate on what we're gonna get in June.
I just hope it has like at least most of the content that Seven had, and just carried it over.
That would be nice.
I'm personally afraid that with changing times, perhaps the cross-dressing cloud scene might be cut out.
they just have to handle it well enough.
Yeah.
I think it could be.
And his character model is pretty enough. You throw a long blonde wig on him, I think he'd be fine.
I think I would like to see how they would do it updated. I think they're probably handling it, trying to do it very carefully, very tastefully, hopefully.
Yes, I think the goal there would be to, because originally it's ha 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 ha, he's in a dress. You don't want to do that; that would offend people.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I don't want to be in their position and trying to figure out how to make that work properly, but I do hope they make it work properly.
I
Yes.
hope they'll make it properly as well. And Kane saying in chat they already showed Cloud in a dress. I think that was actually fan art.
Yeah, and honestly, even though it's just one scene, it's a very memorable scene. It's not a case of it's not a case of offensive. It's genuinely comedic. The main character was put in a comedic light, a comical one, and I think it's very defining of him as a character to have that there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What about you, Aegir? What are your thoughts?
I don't have any thoughts.
No? Not looking forward to 7?
I am. It should be a fun game.
Is there a particular scene that you're hoping that's remade well within that?
Every Kate Sith scene.
Every case. All right, very nice.
For context clues, he has a
Although-
character who is Kate Sith.
Although I would like it if you were able to have the date with.
With
I would
Barrett,
also
yes.
take Barrett.
That could definitely be possible. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they roll that, but it sounds like that might be the second release. Or the
Yeah, that
second
would
part.
definitely, because that would be Gold Saucer era, and that'd be
Yep.
afterward.
Yep.
That would be episode Barrett.
Yeah, you can download in the Barrett date for $9.99.
Yes.
I'm just looking forward to the game in general. I mean, I've been watching this, since they announced it back in 2015 at E3, and I've had my pre-order in since then. So,
I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people are worried about the episodic nature. A lot of people are worried about it not being a turn-based game. But the episodic nature might actually lead to me finishing the game. Like, oh yay, another episode. Let me play this one now.
yeah, I mean, if they release it in different episodes, decent sized chunks of storyline, and it's not expensive. I mean, I don't want to have to buy the game 3 times.
I'd be okay if it was like, each disc was covered. It was a 3-disc game, right?
Yes.
$20 each. That
Or-
way it's a $60 game at the end of the day.
Or the other thing we could do would be, like $60 for the base game, and then $10 for each additional bits. So like another $20, maybe $30.
Or you could do $79.99 and get the quote-unquote season pass.
Yeah, that actually wouldn't be a bad idea either. Or the ultimate collector's edition type of thing where you get, the Squall in a dress figurine.
So you can have a Buster Sword, letter opener.
That'd be kind of neat too, actually. Actually, they already have those out. I've seen them in stores.
But are they actual Square Enix brand? Because it has to show up to your house chipped or broken in half.
Well, not if you buy it in Akihabara.
No, it's just the shipping that'll damage it.
Maybe then you have it shipped through a proxy. You know, somebody who knows what the hell they're doing.
Rather than the Moogles, because the Moogles sure don't.
Kupo. But no, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, it got my hype level up really high when I saw that, because when I watched the state of play, I was like, this isn't all that entertaining, is it? And then they got one more thing. Here's a game we haven't heard about in a while. And I jokingly said to myself, Final Fantasy VII, maybe. And it was. And I was like, oh my God. And it was really cool. As far as what we get for combat, I'm actually hoping for kind of a mix between what we got in 15 and maybe something within like 13. Because the combat in 13 was very interesting.
I'm getting 13 vibes from what I saw.
And
I really enjoyed 15's combat, and from the looks of it, it looks like you, yeah. But from what I've seen, it looks like it might be like you can switch between the characters, so you're not just like stuck as Noctis, so you're not stuck as Cloud.
Mm-hmm. Well, they added that functionality into 15 in a patch later on.
Yeah.
So it might be something that they were developing for 7. Though go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't remember if it was somebody talking about it or if it was just speculation, but it looked like you could queue up kind of like how you did with the original game, where you could tell I want you to do this while I'm doing this. You could do that with whoever's in your party.
Almost like a Gambit style system.
Yeah.
So 12-ish. I mean, there's a lot of good systems that they could take some bits and pieces out of and create just an amazing system that's more active versus, just the old-fashioned, turn-based.
Right. While I don't think it would happen, maybe a post-release thing. I know it would make a lot of people happy if you actually added an option to do turn-based.
Yeah.
Because I know that would make a lot of the old school people a lot more happy. Or maybe just have it so that you can choose different type of battle options.
That could be, depending on how much work that takes.
Then you can run a Final Fantasy VII Nuzlocke.
No.
Once you lose Barret, you can't Phoenix down him. It's not allowed.
Ouch. Ouch.
All I remember from when I played because I only got through the first disc, was being so upset when I lost my healer. I was like, oh great, I've lost Aerith. She was all of my healing. Crap, Tifa, you have all my healing materia now.
I mean, it was kind of cool with the system. You could create whichever character you wanted to be as whatever job you wanted them to roll, which was neat. So, I mean, you could run with, all magic users if you had enough materia to do so, or you could,
That's what Cloud ended up being for me.
He was your
ended
jack
up being
of all trades.
He was my spellcaster.
Interesting.
And I had Barret as my tank. I got whatever I could to make him as tough as humanly possible.
Like high HP, high defense.
Yeah. Any sort of materia I could get that would grant him buffs.
Wall and things like that.
I just liked him because he had a gun arm and I didn't want to lose him.
And he swore a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always that. You gotta love the swearing.
And he was a good father.
You're damn right. No, I'm looking. It's a game I'm extremely looking forward to. I hope everybody else is too. Like I said, it might not be the best Final Fantasy game, but it's one of the most well-loved Final Fantasy games.
It's certainly the most mainstream Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, it got Final Fantasy back on the map again. All right. I hope that was interesting for all of you guys. If you have something happening on your server or something you'd like us to discuss in the gaming community news, you can always email us, podcast@phoenixstarradio.com. You can hit us up on the Discord channel that Opinion Bot is talking about there. The link is there if you want to jump in and say hi. If you have something you want to add to tonight's episode, you feel free to jump in there and get into the On Deck channel. The call-in channel. We will see what you want to talk about and drag you in. Otherwise, tonight we are going to be talking about all about this wonderful event that's happening right now on Balmung, the Menphina Madness Blitzball tournament. Let's start with Aegir. How did you guys come up with the idea of using Blitzball as an event?
My friend asked us to do a basketball tournament and called it basketball is stupid.
Basketball is stupid, huh?
And it's not very Final Fantasy.
That's true. So, keeping with the whole March Madness theme, you went with Menphina Madness and decided on Blitzball then, huh?
That's how it happened. I also hadn't been sleeping for a few weeks, so it was really easy to put together.
Was this then your idea, Aegir?
More or less. We've had a lot of people contribute over the year.
And now this is the second year that this tournament has been going on, but this is actually the third tournament, correct?
Right, we had a mid-season a few months back during the winter.
And,
It was our minor league teams.
okay, so did you guys then participate in that?
Yes, actually, I coached one of the teams.
Okay, so you were using it to keep your skills sharp, but help other players learn how to do it?
Yes.
Okay, very cool. Now, getting back into the idea of creating the tournament, what was your motivation to use this in-game Blitzball tournament as a way to raise funds? What gave you that idea?
Well, my friend Dylan came to us and said that this was such a great idea that we could probably combine it to go to a good cause, and she was the person who really got everything off the ground. Yeah,
Dylan is definitely a hard worker. If she has time to join us, maybe she'll jump in the stream for a little bit and tell us a little bit more about it. But with all of that, so last year's event supported Extra Life because a lot of the streamers like us, had just started working with Extra Life to raise funds for the children's hospitals all across the U.S. So why did you guys then change this year to support To Write Love on Her Arms?
It was a really personal decision between Dylan and I. I asked her if we could, look for something maybe around that topic, and she was able to find something great too. She's also working on a kind of a project that's going to relate to this. It's going to come out in the future.
Okay. Is this kind of related a little bit to the series from Maelstrom Radio where they're talking a lot about mental illness?
It is.
I'm glad that a lot of these people are bringing mental illness to the forefront because it's long been one of those things that's had a major stigma attached to it, that people who have mental illness are unstable, they're not as good as everybody else. But you know what, a lot of people suffer from mental illness, depression. It's not as uncommon as you think. I myself have definitely had many bouts of depression or anxiety. I am definitely I have a lot of social anxieties, things like that. And yet I do a podcast. I know, weird, but I'm really glad. Sorry, you were saying?
I was saying it's a big mood. I'm on antidepressants myself. I'm actually trying to work towards becoming a psychiatrist, so I can, be a therapist for people with things like depression and everything. It's going to be a work in progress, but
Yeah.
I was pretty big on this. I've actually supported Extra Life in the past as well on Guild Wars 2, so when this came along, I was actually quite pleased.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to support multiple different charities, and like I said, being somebody who's been personally affected by mental illness, I'm more than happy to jump in and support this type of cause. So I'm glad that To Write Love on Her Arms is the charity that we're supporting this time around. Now, regarding the teams for the event, we currently have 8 different teams representing all across Heidelin, from Gridania to Limsa, Ulda, and then we also have Garlemald, Kugane, Washoy.
Washoy!
How did you guys come up with the different teams?
I decided pretty early on that I wanted to go by region, and then I just thought about the most stupid names possible to use.
Is that basically what it was? That you just thought of just really silly, stereotypical names for those regions and the city states within them?
Pretty much, whatever made me laugh at the time.
That's awesome. So the names are your inside joke. Love it. But we still know Kugane is the best.
Oh yes, of course.
Kugane is the best.
Because we believe in the truth of the game, and that's to have fun. We're not in it for anything else.
You
But we
guys
do
are
want to win.
fun.
Yeah, we have
Do want to
fun
cause
winning
lots of
and
violence.
crushing.
Well, yeah, we are a more bruisier team. It's in the title. We are the Crushers.
But that's how you have fun.
Yeah.
So excellent. Are there plans to keep this going on, or maybe expand it and do it a couple of times a year, supporting different charities?
We're probably going to do another mid-season game, and then, if we're all still playing, we'll do it again next year too.
Okay. I'm wondering if maybe it would be an interesting idea for the mid-season one. Maybe that one we can use to support Extra Life, because at this point we can that's closer to the time frame when game day is running.
That's definitely a good point. There's a couple players from Mateus who are also interested in teaming up with us to do some blitzball too.
Very cool.
Yeah, that good old world visit.
Yeah, any plans with the world visit? Any plans to take it to other servers?
We might see that with the Mateus League.
And maybe you could expand it to Diablos or any of the other worlds too. So a lot of cool stuff that could potentially happen. You could have small little leagues happen on each of the worlds, and their champions come to Balmung, and y'all play against each other.
That would be neat.
Speaking
Speaking of, shout out to Diablos. This hat was cheapest on there.
Nice.
You just want us to take it off of Balmung because you want to get away from the ERPers.
No, that's not it. Not all
No,
of it.
we can just kick Ulda out, and then we're fine.
Oh my.
Everything they say is true about us.
But no, we greatly appreciate all the hard work you're putting into this. Like right now, the event happening behind us is it's like how do I explain it? Maybe you guys can explain it better than I could.
It's like those. It's like what you see before like a sporting event that the local high schools running. They've got silly games. They've got concessions. We have a quote unquote mount wash.
That's
where the
happening over
cheerleaders
to
are
our
gonna be
left,
washing
isn't
your
it?
mounts. I believe so.
Maybe we can sneak it over there just a little. Unfortunately, we can't see much over there now. But yeah, there was a date auction happening. There's going to be a race coming up soon, isn't there? In about 10 minutes.
Hopefully.
That'll be happening right behind us. So that's why
I don't know if it's 10 minutes. It might be another hour.
I was thinking it was 10:30 Eastern.
Yeah, it's at 10:30 Eastern.
Yeah, so that'd be in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
It should be starting soon. We've got our vendors, we've got the date auction, we've got a couple of games going, and we've got the mount wash. And I've seen them wash cars, dragons. I think I've seen them wash a dinosaur.
Everybody watch the dinosaur.
Dun, 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 dun.
But all of these things, they're paying in gil in game, but these things are going to be converted over into real life donations, correct?
Yes.
Right.
So-
The race and the auction are converted into donations.
So how is the race working then? So people enter the race on their mounts, and then are people betting on the race? Who's going to win, or how does that work?
With the race, you need to sign up beforehand, and then if you donate $1 to the charity, you get to participate.
How many participants do you have so far?
That is a good question. I have no idea.
Are they going to be racing all around this side of Eastern Lenosha then?
We've got the racetrack mapped out on the main document, which I can send you.
Or if you want,
I've got it up right now. So it's going to. Let me describe this as best I can.
if you have the link,
Okay.
I can give you permission to post it, or you can post it and I can pop it into the Twitch chat for people to take a look at. If you're
Sure.
cool to share it.
I can send it to you. Sure. Do you want me to post it in the
The show
the
channel is
showroom
fine.
channel?
Yep,
Yeah.
the show channel is fine.
I think that one's directly to the slide it's on too. But it's going to go down across the beach, upwards, and follow the road for the most part down south of us to just what's that called? The Gull Perch Tower, over to that area, and then swing back around to right in front of us.
And then down the beach.
Yeah, and then down through the beach again. And they're doing
Pretty.
it, I think, 3 laps. The winner gets the motorcycle mount.
Very cool. I think that's a neat way to get a few additional donations made to the charity. Now, are these going to just directly to the charity itself, not to a specific team?
I think you can donate to whoever you want to.
Okay.
because I entered and donated to the Guardians.
Okay, so you when you enter, you can specify which team you're going to support with your donation. Very cool. Lots of different things going on with this. It's a very, very interesting and intricate way. The Balmung community has really jumped onto this, and they're really making the whole thing their own. I mean, we're seeing a whole bunch of other different types of events as well. There was some other fundraisers that happened earlier this week. I believe there was a pep rally for like the Gradanian team. On Monday, there's going to be a ramen feed for the Kugane team, which I'm going to try and get on and do some broadcasting for, which could be kind of interesting. That's going to be in Shirogane, I believe, is where the
Yep, Shirogane Ward 1, Plot 2.
should be easy to find, right?
I would hope so.
So if you have a character over on the Crystal Data Center and you want to stop in there, I'm sure you can find somebody who would be kind enough to friend you and allow you to teleport over to Shirogane. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
You can cheat if you want to. It's fine. I will say this. Speaking of our sponsor, they have a challenge there at Suisei Ramen. It's the Meteor 7 challenge. It's a spicy ramen challenge. You have 3 chances or 3 rolls that you have to do, and they get increasingly hard each time. But you have to beat, I think it's a 500, 600, and a 700. I think, or a 6, 7, and an 800. And then you get your picture taken, and it gets put on the wall as one of the champions. I've yet to beat it.
I lost.
So is it based off of a random roll then, or how does that work?
Yeah, you just slash random. You have to beat like I said, I think it's a 6, 7, and then an 800.
Okay. And that you have to give a donation to enter for that?
No, well, I would imagine that Yosei might do something similar for that, since we're trying to raise money, of course. But normally, you just ask to take part in the competition, but you only get it once a month.
Okay.
And if he's not doing that, that's a good suggestion, and I might just steal that.
Be a good way to get more donations to the Koban Crushers. Washoy!
Yes. Washoy!
Yes, yes. All right. So let's talk about the game itself. How does it work in Final Fantasy XIV to play Blitzball?
Very complicated, but it's not complicated at all. It only seems that way.
Okay. Explain.
So the field is divided into, of course, center field. Think of it like most sports games. Yes, sports games.
Sports
so you've got
balls.
center field. Then you have the defender position, and then you have the goalie. So it's center and then 2 spots on each side. At the start of the game, usually when the Don calls and tosses the ball, the centers roll for who gets the ball. Much like in hockey or football or football or soccer to us Americans.
Okay, so the if you're familiar at all with Final Fantasy X and the Blitzball, there's a face-off.
Yes.
And that's when the ball goes into play. And so the 2 centers roll off. Whoever rolls highest gets control?
Correct.
Okay. So there's a lot of /random being done in the game.
Yes, that's the main mechanic behind it.
Okay. And then go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Each team at the center, they have their center players who are the ones who do the blitz off, and then they have the right and left forwards. I play a left forward.
I'm a left defender.
Yes. Behind us in that first section behind center field would be the defenders.
Okay, so you've got center. If you split the arena in half, on each side you've got centers in the center, and then you've got a left and a right forward, and then behind them you've got left and right defender, and then you have
Correct.
your goalie.
Yes.
Okay.
And once the blitz off is resolved, so whoever rolls the highest, the team whose center won control of the ball goes first. And they have the option to try and prevent the other team from going after your center, the man with the ball, or woman with the ball, or dragon with the ball if they ever let the Dravanian team in.
Can they swim?
We had one last year.
Don't know.
Not a team, but we had one dragon play.
The Vath team was disqualified because they kept floating to the top of the pool.
Yeah. They don't swim real well. Or they can push forward into the enemy's defensive line.
And try to advance the ball.
Correct. After the ball carrying team goes, the defending team goes. And now, if any of the members of the forward line, the center, or either of the forwards, have decided to move forward, the defending line can then try and roll to stop them. Grab onto their ankles and drag them back to position, basically.
So they're going to attempt to tackle.
Well, you say that in a tame fashion, but usually a lot of the time we engage in unnecessary levels of violence.
There is no such thing as unnecessary roughness in Blitzball.
Because that's all necessary.
Exactly. And the very last person to go is the person with the ball. And generally speaking, that first round, the center will get messed up because they're usually getting tackled by 3 or 4 people.
Every time.
So, which then, if somebody is blocking the person with the ball, and they've successfully, they do that by doing opposing rolls again.
Yep.
Like you said, there's a lot of /random in this. And if somebody is blocking the ball carrier, if they throw it to somebody, or even if they try to go for a point as what happened at ours. Because Blappa, our center, scored from the middle of the field.
Wow.
Yeah, he got like a 978, I think it was,
Holy
on
crap.
his roll. Yeah. He rolled a 999 during it, trying to pass it to me, I think.
So that was like a perfect
Yes.
pass, huh?
Yeah, there was nothing anybody could have done about that one. But they do an opposed check, and if the person with the ball rolls lower, the person who was rolling against them gets the ball at that point, and then it continues from there.
So it's turn based with random roll offs, trying to have the offensive team move the ball forward and ultimately try to score against the goalie, and then the defensive team trying to steal the ball and move forward as well.
Correct.
Interesting.
And for each section, there is each section of the field. The trying to score gets harder and harder. If you're right at the enemy goalie, right? You have to beat a 200 plus you have to beat the goalie's roll, because that's the distance check. You have to beat the distance check.
Okay.
And then each square you get further away, it adds 200. So from enemy defense, you have to beat a 400. From center, it's got to be 6. From your own defensive line, it would have to be an 800 plus. And then if you're trying to do it from your own goal,
It's got to be a
not sure if
999, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's
not even-
900.
Yeah, it's 900.
But if they happen to roll the same, if you roll a 900 but they roll a 901, it's still blocked.
Yes, it's intercepted at that point.
Okay. Are there any other modifiers in this, or is it straight random?
It's straight random. Although we do each player was asked to come up with a flavor only special move.
Okay.
I've worked mine into my shooting macro, whether I roll a 1 or a 999.
Very nice. So it's
I'll just own up to it.
So how much practice does it take to get good at blitzball?
1 hour.
Just an hour?
Sure.
At least to be at least to be qualified to play anyway.
Okay, so to be able to play in the tournament, you have to practice for 1 hour. But to really get a feeling for how it all works and not screw it up too badly, I mean, how many times do you guys practice?
I only needed to learn the once. It's actually relatively easy to understand once you actually get it.
What I feel is the best is, well, don't get me wrong, our practice mission or our practice games and stuff have been great, but once you get into an actual game, that's when it really clicks for you.
Okay.
And that's where I've seen it click the most for players. When I was coaching the swim fleet during our off season with the minor leagues, a lot of them were kind of unsure about it during practice, but as soon as we got into game and I was voicing, in the voice chat, the team voice chat, how things go, they were like, "Oh, I get this. I understand how this works. Okay."
Interesting.
The most complicated thing is chain blocking, but I'm not going to talk about that.
Why not? Is it a very advanced?
I don't really understand chain blocking.
Fair enough. So just so I kind of have a better understanding, when we're talking about moving the ball and you can have multiple defenders coming up against you, can you actually have people on the offense help you out?
Yes, the forwards are allowed to go from their own defensive line all the way to the opposite team's goal. That is their range that they can move.
Okay.
So they can help with the defense if you have a lot of the enemy team there. I say enemy team, the opposing team. No, they're enemies. Crush them.
Wash away.
Wash away.
They are enemies. We must destroy them.
Yes.
Yes. The defenders are allowed to go up to center and back.
Okay.
The center, which again is the most free class, they can go anywhere.
But it's also probably seems like to be one of the most difficult.
it can be really complicated, and there's a lot riding on it. Plus, no sausage, no sea chocobos. I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Well, sorry.
So you're responsible for the blitz off, so there's a lot of pressure there. I will show you into the ocean. There's a lot of responsibility in being center. You're responsible for the blitz off. That's a lot of pressure. You're the first person who has the ball, so you're the most likely to throw and get it intercepted.
Or get
lynched.
smashed.
Or get smashed.
Call block.
Because almost always, as soon as the center gets the ball, the opposing team, all three of them, their center and their forwards, will try to block that person.
Okay. So when
Make
that...
it as...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, when that happens, then it's at that point, like I said, you got a 3-on-1, and then they have to beat all three rolls, correct?
Yes.
So, in depending on what they choose to do, pass back to another forward, or just move through, you need to beat whatever roll that they go off of, and so if you roll 600 and you beat all three of their rolls, you can, if you choose to, you can move through them at that point, right? And just continue on towards the goal.
If they block you, you can't move. That negates your movement for that round.
Okay, but so let's say, okay, so they catch you, and then you choose, like I said, you want to continue to just move through. I know that I'm speaking off of actual Final Fantasy X Blitzball right now.
Right.
You have the choice to pass, shoot, or continue the dribble. So if you want to continue,
we don't have a continue dribble, so it's a pass or shoot.
Okay, so if you are stopped, you have to pass or shoot.
Yes.
So it's more like basketball in that aspect then. Okay. Because they're basically stopping the dribble, and you have
why I usually, since I'm the captain of the team now, I have a bit more control of it, but I usually try to have at least one forward try to push forward, if at all possible.
Okay, so that way they can be passed to a little bit more easily?
Yes, although there's a bit of strategy there. If you can get if you get the two forwards to push forward into the defensive line of the opposing team, that also, oh hey, they're going to be over there. If they're over there, they're open. So if the center beats my score, he can throw the ball to him, and that's fine. So it might break the other forwards off to try and stop us from moving.
Okay.
And thus free up the center to have less rolls to have to go through. But, I mean, the center can also pass backward to the defenders who are going to be open at that time.
Yep. Is that... they still have to beat the roll-off, though, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But at that point, it would... The defenders could then throw more forward and not have to worry about anybody blocking them because there's nobody in their way.
Correct.
Okay.
There are rules against... I forget what they call it, but we can't just pass from one defender to another until somebody frees up.
Okay, so you can't just keep going back and forth. You actually do have
we
to end up making some
juggle.
forward.
Yes.
And that makes sense because you want to, you want to keep the game moving.
Yeah. About the closest thing you can get to that is something that Cerise and I have done. We did it last year. We tried to do it this year too, but it's when we get over, if we manage to press all the way over to the goalie, if the defenders start chasing us to the goal, the next round we can try to move back to the defender thing and try to keep them from intercepting us and keeping us from moving.
Okay. I was looking to see if I could see any of the race going on right now. I don't see anything right now.
Looks like it's starting in about 6 minutes.
Okay, so it's starting in a little bit.
Yes.
It's tough herding cats, isn't it?
Yes.
Always.
All right.
Says the
There's a
team
lot
with
of
mostly
cats, yeah.
cat girls.
Yes.
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 You have no...
So how did you guys decide to get involved?
Oh boy. I guess I've always been heavily ingrained in the community. I suppose I'm not really a famous person here, but I've always tried to jump in whenever I get the time. I've always been one for being part of a community, and admittedly, I think that's actually to a fault because I kind of go a little bit crazy when I'm not constantly social. But that's the pain of being an extrovert. And the Blitzball scene has always been something I've had a fascination with. My character is I always kind of had my character written as a Blitzball player. When they kind of announced this kind of thing, it was perfect for me.
Very cool. How about you, Keio?
I am okay. Has it been a year already? Wow.
Yeah,
Um,
more than even.
a friend of mine brought me into the Garlean RPer Discord that Aegir is a part of, and from there I ended up joining. Or I'm not a member of the G&G FC, but I might as well be, as much as I do and help with them.
Kind of an honorary then.
Yeah. One of my main character, at least RP wise, is one of their head chefs during their tavern night. But through that, I've tried to involve myself in any of the community events that they run because I really like them. And Blitzball just seemed right up Kara's alley character-wise, because when I was trying to come up with concepts for her, originally I thought, maybe she's a chocobo racer. I was trying to come up with some sort of sports thing, and then they were like, Blitzball, and I was like, that sounds really good for her.
Why did you guys end up choosing to get on the Kugane team?
Nobody was joining.
My answer was, well, if I was actually in it last year, I actually would have gone to pursue chocobos because that's where my character lives in Gridania, or lived in Gridania. But stories changed and they've moved to Kugane. So now that's the team she reps.
So yours was kind of an RP reason. KO, you just did it because you felt like it.
Well, initially when they released everything, if I remember right from the first season, I know that Ul'dah and Gridania filled up real quickly, but we were having trouble filling out the Kugane team, and I was like, you know what? Sure, why not? So I threw my name in with that, and I loved my team from last year. I'm glad a lot of them came back this year. I'm also glad to have newer folks like Cagi.
Hey.
Now, if I understand correctly, there is kind of a role-playing requirements to joining certain teams. Is that correct?
Each team has a requirement to join.
Like you need,
Some more players than others.
like most times you have to either be a specific race or live in a certain area.
Right. For example, the Garlean team requires that you be a citizen of Garlemald. At least that was a requirement last year. Now they're pissed off and they're taking anybody who can win.
It's because they lost.
They're trying to hire all the ringers. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, they did win in the minor leagues.
Maybe that's when they opened up their enrollment.
Well, the minor league team was non-citizens playing to become citizens.
Oh.
Yeah, I was in the Mikote team at that one.
So that's a thing.
Desperation.
That's a thing on Balmung, huh? That people want to be citizens of
in the lore of the Garlean Empire, it is way better to be a citizen than a non-citizen. You ever seen the movie Starship Troopers?
They're racist. They're very racist.
That sounds like it could be a whole new episode on its own. So we'll kind of leave that one there. But the reason I had asked about that, if I remember reading it correctly, the Kugane one was pretty much open, correct?
Yes. Kugane, the in-game lore, Kugane is very open. They don't really see beast tribes as beast tribes. They're just other people. So it's a very open team. Although I do get a kick out of the fact that for now 2 seasons running, that the fantasy Asian team is filled with a bunch of cat girls.
Yes. That goes for days. Desu Desu.
You're not wrong.
And it's not intentional, but it keeps happening.
Don't worry about it.
Yes, we do have a Rayan, and we have Momo. She's our token Rayan.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Blappa, who is our token hire.
So it's not all cat girls, just a bunch of cat girls and some wannabe cat girls then.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we've got Blappa representing our Garlean interests. Because he works at the consulate.
The consulate, okay.
And Momo is just straight up our from authored.
Okay.
Like I said, token Rayan.
Very cool. So how much of your role-playing backstory comes into play with the choice of your team or how you play the game?
With Kara, a lot of her backstory doesn't really, but I have definitely included her blitzballness as something she does.
Okay.
Go ahead, Cagi.
I was saying, I've been preparing for this since 2013, so when I saw this, I was jazzed.
So you've been working on your character's in-game story and hoping for something like this to be able to express.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I've been playing this character for 6 years, and it's been progressive, but blitzball has always been a thing in the character's backstory because they're water aspects.
All right. So then we have to ask the glaring question. Do you guys really want to see blitzball added by Square Enix?
Absolutely.
I would love it.
Do you think
I'd love it more than Blue Mage.
Well, I think a lot of people would. Sorry, that was low. That was low.
That was low. There's nothing wrong with Blue Mage. It's fun.
Yeah.
I would just rather Blitzball be a better minigame.
It'd definitely be better than Lords of Vermilion.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that's something that could fit within this game?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, would it be...
I keep hoping it's a similar situation as to what happened with the Hrothgar and Bunny Girl, the helmets and the glasses and things, and that there's somebody on the team who's just like been poking at it for 5 years trying to get it to work
in their off time, trying to as they're between projects.
Yeah.
They
come home on their weekends and they're like, okay, I'm gonna put like 5 hours towards this and see if I can figure it out.
It's a folder on the server called Super Secret Project. Do not look, Yoshi P.
Yes.
Donuts. Considering how much their Western team is a bunch of meme lords, you can imagine.
I want to meet who the entire team responsible for naming quests.
Well, if you go to FanFest, you'll get to meet Koji, who's in charge of approving or making up a lot of those. So he is a treasure.
Very true.
He is a treasure.
Yes. Yes, he is.
Do you think it's something that's going to be implemented in the Gold Saucer then?
That would be my guess. I think that would be where it would end up.
It sounds like a Gold Saucer thing.
Oh, I see some cars over there.
I was about to say, I think the race just drove past us.
And they're off. That's the first time no, they stopped, it looks like. So it looks like it starts under the bridge. So I just adjusted the view a little bit.
Not a clue.
Yeah, that's the starting line is under the bridge.
It starts under the cliffs next to the Gentleman's Club.
Oh, so all the way down, out of view, unfortunately. That's the one thing I wish the depth of view was a little bit more so we could see further away, but I'll adjust our view here a little bit so those watching live and out on YouTube can maybe see a little bit of the race. Well, maybe we'll see if we can't catch them as they go by the other way too. I mean, it is a beautiful zone. It's nothing wrong with, catching a number of the different views.
Oh, a lot of our view goes on in Costa here.
I would imagine.
I mean, it is our default, resort area.
True.
It's
And you can swim
so-
now, and there's islands.
It's
I
the
love
beach
the things
episode.
they do.
Everyone loves a beach episode.
But it's still not as bad as Ulda.
We don't talk about Ulda.
We don't talk about it.
Well,
About what?
specifically, we don't talk about the Adventurers Guild in Ulda. We do not talk about the quicksand.
Yeah, I made the
Everything
mistake of
comes
going
true.
through there. Yeah, never again.
Yeah,
It's
no.
all true.
Don't worry about it.
What else would you like people to know about the Blitzball community?
I know that Yuto, the captain of the Marvels, I think he's the captain of the Marvels. Well, Yuto from the Marvels. Pretty sure he's the captain. But he, in between seasons, runs Blitzball training for people who want to learn it, but aren't sure if they want to necessarily join a team.
That's the mascot team, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Just had to make sure.
He's their Lupin.
Okay.
He's Fluffy Boy.
Yes.
Marvelous Lupin.
AKA, he's the one that wears the pig mask.
Well,
The black pig mask, anyway.
I suppose I should really note in a more sappy tone the community. I've found it's always growing, and there's always more interest in the Blitzball scene that's been developing over the past year or so. The works that we've done for the charity before has raised, what was it, 1,500 last year?
a little over 1,000, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just passed last year's goal today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
and-
the last time I looked, we were at $1,150.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, we're still just past round one.
Yeah.
And that raised a lot of a lot of hopes, really, and we're really hoping we can strike that goal of 3,000.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can really chalk it up that this kind of project is much more of a success for the sake of charity.
Exactly. I mean, this we still have a full month until the closing ceremonies. That's not until middle of June.
We're at
Beautiful.
1280 at the moment.
Ooh, wow, we got even more now since we started.
Yes.
That damn.
That is amazing. And we have some really generous players supportive of all these different charities, whether it's Extra Life, whether it's To Write Love on Her Arms, or any number of different charities that people have done fundraisers for. This is probably one of the most giving communities in any game that I've ever seen.
It really is.
And like I said, we know not everybody can give financially, but the amount of time that people are investing into this is phenomenal as well. I mean, Dylan and Aegir, you guys have put in countless hours setting this up. I couldn't even imagine what you guys have been going through to get this going. I saw a little bit of it behind the scenes when you were setting up the Discords and things like that. That's just probably a small taste of what you've been up to, right? Man, a few words.
Aegir's blood is 99% energy drink.
At least at this point, I
God,
would think
big
so.
move.
No, I've known him for a year. That's just a constant state.
Oh, is this true? Would you care to comment on this?
It's Ramadan right now, so I'm not getting the caffeine I need or deserve.
Well,
He's going through withdrawals.
are you okay? Can we help you?
Make the sun go away.
Do you want us to block it like Mr. Burns, or?
I think that technically counts.
Okay, I'll get right on that. Anything else that you guys want to talk about before we kind of wrap this up? In regards to any of this, so.
I say, aside from, if you can, please donate. If you can, please donate to the Crushers. We're the best team.
Wasoy!
Naturally.
Washoy!
Yes, yes.
How many other teams have an army of, Namazu at their back other than possibly the Abyss? Because one of their members has I forget if it's a an entire ship of Namazu that work for him, but still.
They're all indentured though.
Yes.
We don't talk about that though.
Yeah, no.
Um,
They're not free Namazu. They're pirate Namazu. That's not good. That's a no, not a yes.
no. Well, I just want to thank the three of you for joining me tonight. This was a very entertaining and I hope as well a very enlightening episode. I learned a lot about how this whole process works. I literally had zero idea on how you guys did the Blitzball. So thank you so much for explaining it to me. Maybe by this time next year, I'll have my character leveled up where I can actually, attend one of the matches, stream the matches, something like that. I mean,
Play a match.
maybe. Well, I mean, isn't it... Go ahead.
I was gonna say with our off season, we kind of do a world tour. So there was a lot of matches held here in Costa.
Yeah.
So for the off season, you might be able to check out some of those.
Okay.
Or even participate in some of those.
And like you said, you might be doing some world tours on the other Crystal servers. Is there a possibility of maybe expanding to the other data centers?
Sure, anybody can, play Blitzball. They can take our rules, they can make their own. I'd love to see Blitzball in more places.
Okay.
I've personally shared the mechanics for that Aegir and everybody has come up with many people in many Discords.
Do you have a link to those rules? Maybe we could share those, and I can put them out on our on the show notes as well.
Sure. Where did?
If anybody listening is interested in that, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of different things going on, and we're seeing some more people racing by. It looks like. Oh, there they go.
Jump to, and I'll get you that link real quick. Luckily, that one has a teeny URL.
Yay!
Trying to find the right Discord. There we go. All right, there you go.
All right, I will
Posted
copy.
in the show channel.
See that. Copy and paste that for those interested. Like I said, if you're listening on the podcast, this will also be available in the show notes. So
That doobly-doo below.
yes. I suppose at this point, if you guys want to go ahead and throw some shout outs there, tell us a little bit more about who you are, the things that you're doing inside and outside of the game, how people can find you. Basically anything you want to talk about.
Cagi, I will let you go first this time.
No, I mean we kind of covered all the sort of bases here. Just we're always looking for more donators. We're really proud of what we're doing here, honestly, and it's honestly more of an honor.
Like, do you have a Twitter or a Twitch that you would be interested in sharing with people?
Oh, no, I'm not in that sort of scene yet.
Okay, well, that's fine. I know Keio has some of that, but I'd like to ask Aegir to go ahead and shout out anything that they would like to shout out.
I would just like to take a moment to say that this is a really fun game. I've had a really great time organizing it and playing with it. We've had excellent people helping us. Dylan has done so much work in getting everybody together. We couldn't do it without her. Wendy has been another person who has organized the cheerleaders. The cheerleaders are absolutely amazing people who have been supporting us the whole time. And our referees, Leary, Aiden, Rafa, and Hannah, they're there for every game. They're there for every practice, and they help us a lot. And they've made this really fun.
Our cheerleaders are amazing.
We'll have to get some of the cheerleaders on next time. They're cheerleaders that support everybody, correct?
Yes, they are the Menphina Madness cheerleaders.
So they're out there just getting people to cheer for the game.
Yes.
They don't necessarily cheer for one particular squad. I mean, they'll cheer like when you have the ball or something like that.
I think they usually split in half, and half of them will cheer for one team, half of them will cheer for the other.
Okay.
Sometimes I've seen them just kind of alternate whoever has the ball.
Okay. That's kind of a neat way to do it. They're cheering on the sport. Go sports
Yes.
ball.
Go sports ball.
All right. And Keio, I know you have plenty to plug, so by all means, please do.
Sure thing. You can find me on Twitter at KeioSeth, KEIOSETH. You'll just see my things I've pushed from YouTube videos I've liked, and the occasional long rant if I'm having a very slow day at work. Hashtag laser convention. That was a fun day.
Oh my. Sounds
Yeah.
like an interesting time.
It was the actual laser convention. It was a bunch of people who specialize in lasers. I was purposefully walking through each one of the rooms that they were going through. It was like, oh no, I'm just checking to make sure your temperature's okay. Oh, that's fascinating. Tweet about it. I can also be found on Twitch at Underachieving Toku Sentai, all one word. Stream at regularly twice a week. We do our Monday Night Combat stream on, as you guessed it, Mondays. Occasionally it will be a Tuesday or Wednesday night combat stream. Depends on when everybody can get together. But on that we usually do competitive multiplayer games or things that we can play against each other. Occasionally we'll do a board game using Tabletop Simulator. Really just depends on our mood. On Saturdays, we've just recently started up a D&D campaign that I call Totally Radical Fantasy. It's D&D except in like a synthwave 80s theme. Which I recently found out there is a thing called, what was it, Lasers and Liches? I think, which is an actual synthwave D&D campaign setting. I might have to look into that. So if you're interested in that, we do that. I occasionally, in-game wise, as Aegir is reminding me, in-game wise, I have a character who has an alternate persona known as DJ Carvey. And he does the wub wubs. He is the Dark Lord of the Synth.
Wub wub.
And we do, along with Aegir and Jaden, we do a lot of in-game raves.
With a wub wub.
Yes, with the wub wubs.
Wub wub. I just wanted to say wub wub.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. What have I started?
And I think that's just about everything.
All
currently.
right. Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on and guest hosting with me today. And I thank you for being a welcoming server to a lonely little sprout like myself who took the sprout away because I didn't want to seem like such a sprout.
No, that's fine. That sprout needs an easier way to get rid of it.
Yeah. Instead of NA status / off, whatever. I had to look it up again. You guys are doing an amazing job at this. Thank you for putting all this hard work into the whole process of creating the game, running the tournament, doing the fundraising. You make it a lot easier for us as the out-of-game sponsors to help to support you guys, because you guys are the real heroes here. So thank you for everything you're doing. We're going to keep sharing what we can to make sure that people are aware of what's going on.
Aye.
Because that's what we want to do for you guys, because you're doing an amazing job. So thank you very much. If you haven't checked them out, I put a link to Menphina Madness website, menphinamadness.org. Go check that out. It's got all the information about the tournament, when the next games are going to be, when you can find these amazing Kugane Koban Crushers playing next.
Washoy.
Yes.
What shy?
So I'm going to go ahead and call it a night then, guys. So thank you again for my guest hosts, for Keio, for Cagi, and for Aegir. I'm Klauss Nightbringer, wishing everybody a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Take care.
Phoenix Down Radio is a production of PhoenixDownRadio.com and Illusion Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. In-game content for Phoenix Down Radio is the copyright of Square Enix. Opening music for Phoenix Down Radio is provided by Guilty Gear Rock You. Check out the Metal Chocobo theme cover and many other music videos at youtube.com/Guilty Gear Rock You. Closing music for this episode is provided by Guitar Wanker 90. Please check out their full version of Matoya's Cave and other rock video game covers at youtube.com/Guitar Wanker 90. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of Phoenix Down Radio and its hosts and do not reflect the views of Square Enix.